Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. This is Nigeria Now on Equa Television International. And you know how we do it here. We want you to put your voice on what we are going to be discussing concerning Nigeria. We look at issues, of governance, where the government is doing well. We applaud them. Where they need us to draw their attention. Together, we communicate because it's our nation. We advise. And today, we're going to be looking at some few issues, and one in particular, it's very key, because without that particular one, like almost everything is standstill. But before then, with Joyce Jakada.
As always, a pleasant afternoon to you, Sambo Solomon.
You're looking good in this red.
Thank you so much, even though not happy.
Yeah, honestly, this issue of insecurity is persisting. It is something that people were thinking that is going to be thing of the past, particularly with the coming of this new administration. You listen to the president's inaugural speech, when he talks about security, he talks about the issue of uniting the nation, the issue of building the economy and the rest. But without security, everything will be grounded. And the issue of attack, in some states, it's like, the whole thing is resurfacing fresh. It's just that they are changing, let me put it that way, maybe a location of how or where they normally do this attack. The issue of mango now, mango in Plateau State, Nigeria, coffee was imposed, today because of the killing there, and this continues. Do you think there's going to be headway for this country?
Well, Sambo Solomon, looking at the continuous killings, the attacks that is taking place in not just Plateau State, not just Kaduna South, but different states across Nigeria, you can't but say that these terrorists are only waxing stronger, even when you expect that at this point they are going to be decimated. Like we keep talking about insecurity, we keep talking about the primary responsibility of government, ensuring that the lives and properties of people are safeguarded, ensuring that people enjoy at least their fundamental human rights, even amidst the lack of them enjoying the dividends of democracy. They should be safe in their own country, in their own ancestral land, in their own state. But reverse is the case. We have military special task force spread across different local governments in Plateau State, in Kaduna, and other states, and all of that. But yet, each day you wake up is to the sad news that people have been killed. One of the community leader in one of the community in Plateau State, I'm talking about Jerry Datin, who is a community leader and also the president of the Global Society for Middle Belt Heritage. In an interview, talked about the fact that this military special task force came to the community. They were seen during the day. They have been deployed for some time. We have roadblocks and all of that. How come that continuously people, these perpetrators of this act that attacked unknown gunmen or suspected headers will always come, then perpetrate this act, kill burn houses, destroy things. Like sometimes I keep thinking of the hours they spend doing all of this, and then they still go on court. Not even one person arrested and all of that. What we keep hearing that the government is on top of the matter, they will follow up on all of that. It's really disheartening. It's so painful that as we speak right now, about 30,000 people are displaced. I'm just talking about Plateau State. These communities, Mangubat, Kinladi, and other places, Bokos, that have been experiencing continuous attack. You will recall some times last year it was Bassa, Miango villages around Miango and all of that. We kept talking about the fact that, see, can we have a government that is proactive, a government that will come up with measures that will tackle and end this thing once and for all? We are talking about insecurity in Nigeria. Like Boko Haram banditry is just waxing stronger. Because these people will come and attack, they will go like unabated. Nobody stop them, nobody arrest them and all of that. We keep hearing humongous amount of money being allocated for buying of military equipment to fight all the insurgency and all. We keep hearing government saying, even in their speech, that they have dealt with the issue of insecurity, yet people cannot sleep in their own ancestral land. It's so sad. The issue of Plateau State, the issue of even Southern Kaduna, like it's even becoming a new normal that people just wake up with such news. No, it's not something that is acceptable. I think every stakeholder, every leader, whatsoever level, need to rise up to their primary responsibility. You cannot be heading or leading people, yet these people cannot sleep, having appointed you to take care of their own affairs. I think it's high time that everybody come together to put their hands on deck to ensure that the needful is being done. We cannot be counting scores of dead like we're counting some piece of sand or I don't know. So I think the right thing must be done. It's so unfortunate. As we speak right now, over 30,000 people are displaced. And then part of these people are children that are even writing the GSCE. Some of them SSC, some of them even university examination. Do you know that some of these children missed their exams because of this attack? Some of them, their parents have been killed as we speak right now. Well, what have NEMA done? What about SEMA? These are agencies that you expect that they should even be immediate or quick response from them. But these people, when you go and see their state, even at the IDP camps, it's so unfortunate. The primary responsibility of the government, like I will say and I will continue to say, is to safeguard the lives of the people. If you fail in this primary area, in this primary responsibility, then you have failed. I've seen how Nigerians are applauding the current administration, talking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his team, some of the decisions that have been taken, removal of first subsidy, which is not even the conversation right now, because we've seen how Nigerians have, like a lot of people talk about the removal. I know that right now the conversation is about cushioning the effect of the fuel subsidy. But one would rather think that at the time where the nation is faced with this issue of insecurity, it should be top priority, it should be on the list. So let's see every hand being put on deck to ensure that an end is being put to this. The unfortunate thing is that as you talk, like this attack happens, one of the attacks was on Friday night. There was another attack on Saturday and on Sunday again. So these people will come, they will go, they will come, they will go, even in the presence of the military task force. Please, I think we need to do the needful. I think one of the complaints from the military or security agencies is the fact that, they don't even have some of this equipment that does stuff, that do the unknown gunmen and all these terrorist people come with, sophisticated and all of that. So the money we budget for the security purpose and all of that, what is it being used for? So I just hope that the needful is going to be done. And right now, as we speak, these over 30,000 people, I hope that NEMA, SEMA, and every stakeholder in the society, every responsible Nigerian will come to their aid in terms of helping them to see that the effect of all this is not really, it doesn't eat them deep. And let's see that these people are being returned to their ancestral home.
Wow. Issue of insecurity in this country, like you rightly said, it's something that we've been talking about it in this station, particularly in this particular show, and we say it the way it is, and we are just calling on the people that are responsible. If you are heading a security outfit apparatus, you know, in this country, then you know you're being given a responsibility which you are to supervise and to make sure that that place is working. And like we always say, you know, it is high time that every sector will start working properly, because like I mentioned earlier, you know, without security, what do you expect? And when you look at this issue of insecurity, this issue of attack, kidnapping, and then the rest, the way they target, it to me is like it's a script that they're acting. Personally, that's how I see it. You know, you remember when the Baba Jang was ruling, the whole idea was those areas that Birom are dominating. And immediately, you know, Mutfan was sworn in. You know, the whole thing now shift to Mangu. Is it that some people are not happy because certain people from certain area are ruling? Because the whole thing happening, it will just give you reasons to think the way you want to think. And that's what people are thinking now. And you can't just allow people to begin to think in this way, because automatically once people start thinking this way, then you will know that there's a way people from that particular area will start feeling. And then the issue of trust will not be there. And you know how Mango it is. God forbid if Mango today will be on fire, the spread is going to be like a wildfire. Because if you know how Mango it is, because people can just ignite something and use that as an opportunity to perpetrate their own evil things. Some people will just come because they want to steal, and they will use the idea of insecurity and they will perpetrate whatever they want to do. And I think Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it is high time for him to look at this issue of insecurity. Number one, I was thinking his first assignment would be the army chiefs. That was what I was thinking. And then the national security advisor. That's what I'm thinking, because this 8 years was just something that people were just praying, anxiously waiting that the regime should just end. Because what they promised Nigerians concerning the issue of insecurity during the Boko Haram, you know what transpired. You know, bombing everywhere. And when they came, they talk about eradicating these Boko Haram people. Not for us seeing Boko Haram graduating to banditry, graduating to headers, whatever they call it, graduating to unknown gunmen, graduating to kidnappers. And you ask yourself, like, do we have government that really care?
And that's why earlier on I said something, Sambo Solomon, that we all need to rise to the occasion. We need to be, we need to take responsibility. It is, we have voted for a government, and it is expected that they protect the citizen. But where there is failure, we can't fold our hands and just watch. We've had several times that government will say, "Oh, just be calm," and all of that. The danger of this kind of situation is where you keep having attack, another attack, like that can just cause war, it can just cause crisis, and the effect will still bounce back on the state or on the country as a whole. So we need to all rise up to our own responsibility as individuals, as communities, as a government, to ensure that people are being protected. When a farmer goes to the farm, he should be able to harvest without any interruption. See, the poor state of even our security is a threat to this democracy that we're talking about. Is a threat. So it's obvious that the government have failed in its primary responsibility of safeguarding the people. For how long? This is it's
For
still
how
we are
long?
still under the same APC administration that ruled for 6 years, having promised Nigerians security and all of that. Yet we keep seeing Kaduna, Niger, different kidnapping for ransom. On those
Sokoto,
states,
Kebbi.
attack, killings, and all of that. How long? If all these people are being killed, who would you rule over? Of course, nobody. So let's ensure that the people are being safe. It's really it's sad, it's painful that as we speak right now, there are children of less than 1 year old that are already orphaned. There are parents right now that their children have been killed. Husbands, mothers, and all. Imagine what you spend your whole life to invest on. One day you wake up, burn down, and all of that. How do you start? We are talking about revitalizing the economy. We're talking about boosting what this and that. Look at the state of agriculture right now in Nigeria. We have gone backward. Like I always say, at some point this economy was blossoming. But why? Insecurity have contributed largely to this backwardness. So I just hope that right now the priority will turn to security. When there is security, every other sector will be able to stand still and then operate as expected. But when there is insecurity, then nothing is going to work. We won't boast of blossoming amidst insecurity. So I hope that the security apparatus, we're talking about military task force that have been spread across this local government. Mangu, as we speak, they're under curfew right now. Barkin Ladi, as of Friday night, it was Rawura community in Barkin Ladi. Saturday, it was Mangu. Yesterday, same thing. We don't know where next. We are not praying for any other community. But let's be proactive. I don't really like these reactive measures that it will happen. I will fold our arms. People will say, oh, we are coming for these people. And we will not do anything with such information until the attack is being done. Then we hear people coming out to condemn all of that statement. Can we see proactiveness? Can we see arrest? Can we see investigation? Can we see people being prosecuted? Maybe to bring an end to all of this. If we are determined, if government have the political will, have the mind to do it, if they are ready, they will be able to curb this. How can we say a group of people are more than a nation? It shouldn't be. So I hope that they will be up and about.
So, first subsidy, Labour resumed discussion with the federal government.
Well, the issue of first subsidy is one that Nigerians can relate to. It is. Because right now, as we speak, a lot of people are inflation, prices of goods are up, services as well. And we've seen how that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has tasked NEC, chaired by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, to look out for measures to cushion the effect. You will recall before, immediately after the inaugural speech, there was hoarding, there was increase in prices, and then Labour as a union deemed fit to actually meet with the government. Before it was, they actually announced shutting down the nation, going on strike, but the federal government had a meeting with them, and then even though the meeting ended in deadlock, but again, Labour gave their own conditions and all of that, but apparently there was no agreement from that meeting. And at the end of the day, TUC as well also gave their own conditions. Can we have minimum wage? I think they gave them 19th of June that the minimum wage should be 200,000 for the average worker, Nigeria civil servant, and all of that. This is all in an effect to actually cushion the effect of this first subsidy removal, but we've not had anything. I've not had any worker saying I've received. as we speak right now, there are some that are still owing the government salaries. Still, we saw how NEC have also talked about finding ways to allocate about 23 to 25 billion naira monthly, so that it will help cushion the effect on civil servants. Some states have introduced 3 days work, 2 days free, and all of that. But beyond civil servants, some Nigerians will ask, what about us that are not civil servants? We still buy fuel, we still use public transport. What are you doing to cushion the effect? Again, Labour are saying, well, they are having meeting currently with the federal government, but if they don't do anything to cushion the effect of this first subsidy on Nigerians, then they are going to still go on strike again. And when you ask unions like this, they will tell you that's the only language that the government understands strike. But we don't have to get to that point that there will be Labour will shut down all these sectors, then we'll go back for meeting and what. You recall that the president in his speech talked about the fact that his government is going to consult. It's not going to be like an authoritative, even though from his speech saying that first subsidy is gone, it already showed that he took the decision without consulting. So we hope to see more of consultation, more of deliberation, but beyond all of this, let it be that it is for the interest of Nigerians, not just to suit some personal interest, because most times what you see among leaders is when it doesn't suit my personal interest, then I kick against it or I stand against it. If money does not shake hands, then I don't go for it. But we hope to see that the interest is going to be at the end of the day about Nigerians, about the common man on the street, about that woman that is living in Ashe village under Akwanga local government. Let's see how that we can do the needful in cushioning the effect for the poorest, not just the poorest of the poor, but for the general interest of Nigerians, not just civil servant, because almost everything we are seeing right now, it's about the civil servant, the workers, and all. We still have majority of the population that are not working. We have about 133 people living within the poverty range. So what are we going to do to help push on all of this effect? I think when we put that into consideration, it's going to be helpful.
Well, we are hoping that the discussion is going to be fruitful, and that's what we're trusting God for, because like you said, when he said his government is going to consult, and I think any government that is willing to carry her citizens along, you know, is very important for the government to operate an open door policy that people can just come, let's sit on the table and then look at this policy, and then look at the positive angle of it and the negative angle of it, and then agree on certain things. And I want to trust God that the sitting is going to yield a result. You know, Sirab are telling Akpabio and others to reveal pension as ex-governors.
Of course, the socioeconomic
interesting.
Of course, the socioeconomic rights accountability project, talking about SERAP, is just trying to live up to its own primary responsibility of checkmating all of these people. And I think it's very timely that he asked the Senate president, who was a two-time governor of Akwa Ibom State, and then the other 13 governors that are in the 10th Senate currently, to actually let Nigerians know the money they are collecting as ex-governors. Most of these people are the 10th National Assembly. You will check one time this, one time that, and all of that. They all have packages for all of those positions that they held. And so it will be good that they reveal to Nigerians that this is what we are earning, and this is what we are also taking as part of our pensions and all of that. Nigerians keep clamoring for cutting the cost of governance, among others, because we cannot be having poorest of the poor. More than half of our population living within poverty range, people that can barely afford a 3 square meal, people that can barely boast of a place to sleep and all of that. Yet we have people that keep collecting humongous millions of nairas each month in, month out, and all of that. So I think they should be able to, their leaders, Nigerians elected them, so they should be accountable. Like I always say, Nigerians need to reduce their expectations and start holding these people accountable. The point of responsibility starts from you being accountable. So I think SERAP is right by saying the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, as well as the other 13 governors that are currently at the 10th Senate, to actually reveal to Nigerians what they are collecting as ex-governors. What is the pension they are taking. I think it's right for them to reveal that to Nigerians.
You know, he said he's an uncommon governor, not uncommon Senate President. And then this one coming from Sirab, I think is a big challenge for him. So we want to see how his uncommon leadership in the 10th Assembly is going to look like. Yeah, I think it's very key, it's very important for these ex-governors, you know, to tell us how much are they receiving. You know, I know some of them, when they came to office, you know, the monies that the governor is supposed to receive when leaving office, you know, they are not something to really write home about. And then before they will go, they will like amend the law in order to favor them, to increase the money, you know, and so on and so forth. And they live there, you know, with the target of going to Senate to go and retire there. And you start asking yourself, you know, sooner or later, before you know it, the Senate is going to take over by ex-governors, because if every governor that is living is
Right for
aspiring-
Senate.
you understand, and then some of them is not that they perform in their state, and you begin to wonder what kind of laws they are going to come up with, you know, when they reach there. So we just hope that Nigerians will just keep these leaders on their toes. Now that we know certain things, I think we should engage them. It's very key.
True.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joyce, for doing this with
Always
me
a
together.
pleasure.
Yeah. And for the viewer out there, we sincerely appreciate you for giving us your time and for choosing Ekwa TV to be your best station, and for identifying with Nigeria Now. We really appreciate you, and keep your comments coming. Doing this together always gives us joy. So stay tuned for other programs. Thank you, and God bless you.